I want to thank the Chamber for continuing to provide this platform to share some of the highlights in each of our cities for this past year. It is especially important during these times to hear how our local governments are doing and what the outlook for the community is. The Tri-Cities has been such a bright spot in the state with continued growth and many new businesses. We could not have predicted just a few months ago that today we would not be able to meet in the same room and our updates would be delivered in the midst of uncertainty. While we are facing challenges now and in the coming months, we do have many reasons to be hopeful. At the City of Kennewick, we are still seeing lots of activities in permitting, and plans for future development projects are continuing to be submitted. Although the doors at Kennewick City Hall closed to the public in March, we have remained open for business and have continued to deliver all of our services. It has been encouraging how the permitting activity has continued. It is a strong indicator of the confidence those investing in these development projects have in the strength of our community. To best highlight what is happening in Kennewick, it is important to first underscore that Council has established 5 priority areas that provide the backbone to achieving Council goals, as well as provide for sustainable operating and capital budget for over 300 services that we provide. Our 5 priority areas are responsible government, community safety, quality of life, economic development, and infrastructure and growth. Citizens want and deserve their city government to be responsive, responsible, and fiscally accountable. These objectives are met through a broad range of programs. Top focus for Kennewick is placed on increasing creative and flexible approaches to program outcomes, and additionally, leveraging community partnerships for the most efficient and effective delivery of services. We are now in the last 6 months of our 2019-2020 biennial budget, and the city is now in the process of preparing the budget for the next 2 years. Thousands of hours go into biennial budgeting by priorities process, comprehensive planning for growth in the next 20 years, comprehensive parks and recreation planning, transportation planning for the next 20+ years, as well as other sustainable strategies to serve our growing community in our 5 priority areas. To dive deeper in the details, the city provides lots of online tools. We highly encourage citizens to take a look at our biennial budget, comprehensive planning, documents, council meeting packets, and other available materials. All of this information is easily accessible on our city webpage. Council objectives are achieved through broad programs in community safety. Police services, emergency medical services, fire services, safe drinking water, code enforcement, and building safety remain our top priorities. Our businesses and residents have identified safe drinking water as their #1 priority. Significant system infrastructure improvements and maintenance projects to safely supply our existing and growing population are funded. We continue the commitments made to our community in fighting criminal gang and drug activity with the public safety sales tax Benton County voters approved in 2014. This funding has supported additional police officers, additional support positions, implementation of a cadet program, and an additional mid-shift patrol unit. We will continue to work with Benton County and other partner jurisdictions on a unified strategy to implement our regional program commitments for the safety of our community. Our focus on quality of life is to maintain our parks, provide for diverse entertainment options, and offer recreation programs for a well-planned community. We continue to work with the United States Corps of Engineers in partnership with our neighboring jurisdictions, community stakeholders, and federal legislators on conveyance of Columbia Park. During the preparation for the current biennial budget and in conjunction with the Park Comprehensive Plan, public outreach was conducted to see what our community envisions for Columbia Park. And we heard that additional amenities were desired, but they would not be allowed under the current Army Corps of Engineers ownership. The city has a vision to be able to provide commercial activity to support and complement the recreation focus of Columbia Park, such as restaurants, coffee shops, recreation, equipment rental, etc. And I want to acknowledge One of the leaders of this charge to reconvey Columbia Park, former Kennewick Mayor Brad Fisher. As you know, Brad passed away on Sunday, and this community lost a true champion. Brad will be missed, not only as a leader in our community, but as a friend and just an all-around good person. And as two Green Bay Packer fans, it was always good to talk to Brad about Packer football. Go Pack is what we would always tell each other. We are continuing to support and work with our community partners to identify and implement creative solutions to affordable housing and homelessness concerns. Some of our partner agencies include the Housing Authority, Benton County, and our existing social service agencies. Council's overarching objective in economic development are to support existing businesses and to create sustainable family wage jobs. We have established 5 major opportunity centers in our community to provide a unique vision as we continue to work on recruitment, retention, and expansion of businesses. Our opportunity centers are Southridge, Vistafield redevelopment, improve and connect the entertainment district to Vistafield, bridge to bridge area in downtown, transform and connect the waterfront to the downtown, urban growth expansion south of I-82 for industrial development in Columbia Park. Due diligence work continued this year on our public-private partnership that would expand the Tri-Cities Convention Center with a performing arts theater and bring a new convention hotel, retail space, residential towers, and exciting new public spaces that all align with the community's transformational vision for Vistafield. Our award-winning partnership with the Port of Kennewick at Vistafield and Columbia Gardens will continue as we work on projects and look for creative financial options such as the Rural County Capital Funds, legislative efforts, and community partnerships. Our partnership with the Port of Kennewick allows us to leverage our individual resources and expertise to implement unique development opportunities that we would not have been able to do as easily all alone. These projects are shaping the future of our region, both in the center of the Tri-Cities and along our historic waterfront. Significant residential development continues in the Southridge area and is providing the housing we need to sustain our growth. The infrastructure and planning investments already in place will continue to support this growing area. On the legislative front, we have continued to lobby for a building business ecosystems bill that would provide a similar type of financing mechanism that our city used in our Southridge area, which was the local revitalization financing program. This would allow for the city to provide bonding that would construct the infrastructure that is needed for development. This was a very successful program in our Southridge area, generating over 500% return on the investment for the state of Washington. If finally approved by the legislators, it is the city's intent to utilize this BBE funding for Vistafield development infrastructure. Council's objective to maintain existing infrastructure and build new infrastructure to support economic development and expansion are being met through strategic funding of our capital improvements plan. Some of the most important projects a growing community are the ones you never see. This year, phase 2 of a 5.7-mile sewer interceptor project and a major water transmission main installation are both taking place. Another extensive utility project is the replacement of our 10 million gallon water reservoir in Creekstone that provides significant water storage capacity for the city. Citizens and council have identified pavement preservation as one of the most important services, and $2 million was allocated annually for the 2019-2020 biennium. The 2020 asphalt overlay project are underway with improvements to sections of West 10th Avenue, North Edison Street, Hildebrand Boulevard, and South Ledbetter Street. Our success comes from partnerships, shared strategies, and collaboration to implement a shared vision for the future. Part of that collaboration and effort is currently reflected in how we have been working together through this pandemic to navigate the safe reopening of our businesses. We are in discussions multiple times per week with other community leaders in order to get the reopening approvals desperately needed in our community. There is also communication and coordination on funding and grant opportunities for our agencies and our businesses. The economy has been hit hard by this pandemic, and many businesses are currently struggling. Despite the setbacks, our community remains well positioned for a strong recovery. Moreover, the City of Kennewick remains well positioned to continue providing the services that directly affect our daily lives and continue our prosperity. On behalf of the City Council and City staff, I thank you for all that you do, and we look forward to continuing working together with you.
Hello, I'm Saul Martinez, your City of Pasco Mayor, and it's a privilege for me to be here today to give this announcement of the state of the cities. There's no question these are trying times, and it's been a roller coaster of emotions and activities that have happened in our communities, but I appreciate the opportunity to be able to make this announcement so that we can talk a little bit about something other than COVID and express our appreciation and our efforts that we're making in our city of Pasco. The community has been honored as one of the 20 communities in the nation honored as a finalist for All-America City Award by the National Civic League. The award program recognizes the work of communities in using inclusive civic engagement to address critical issues and create stronger connections among residents, business and nonprofits, and government leaders. The Pasco Police's community-oriented policing efforts, New Horizon High School, Tri-City Community Health, Let's Prevent Diabetes, and the civics redistricting efforts were just some of the positive recent developments that were highlighted in a national audience. My thanks to our many partners in Pasco who made these recognitions possible. The city has also been honored for 2 years in a row for the Association of Washington Cities Municipal Excellence Award. 2019's award was the Hotspotters program. This program is collaboration of first responders, legal providers, city and county judges, mental health treatment providers, healthcare providers, community housing organizations, and state health and human services agencies. Hotspotter promotes care plans for clients with complex health conditions who overutilize the healthcare emergency response, legal systems, and need special attention to help stabilize their health and living conditions, and to promote community well-being. 2020's award for the city's Pasco African American Historic Properties Program. East Pasco was home to the majority of African American residents who helped shape the early development of the city and worked on the Hanford site. But many historically significant sites have been lost over time. With help from the state grant, the city began documenting and preparing key heritage properties in the area to be submitted to the National Register of Historic Places. A city-produced video project captured interviews and stories from longtime residents that will highlight and preserve the unique and important aspects of daily life in the community and honor the struggle against the overt racism of the era. With an estimated population for 2020 of over 77,000, Pasco continues to be one of the fastest growing cities in the state. Only 20 years ago, our population was just over 32,000. This chart shows the population growth over time. The purple line is the annual growth rate. While the annual growth rate has stabilized over what we saw in the late 1990s and first decade of 2000, Pasco remains on a solid growth path. The City Comprehensive Plan update is helping to prepare the community for an additional 50,000 residents expected by 2038. That growth has gone hand in hand with another impressive fact. The city's crime rate has dropped more than 80% since 1990, and Pasco remains one of the safest communities in the region and the state. Certainly, the issues around policing and the use of force has been in the forefront of national discussion since the death of George Floyd in Minneapolis. The Pasco Police Department, along with Pasco community, has made great strides in better and more transparent policing in recent years. Some of the highlights include being one of very few agencies in the state that have both national and state accreditation. The first department in the area to implement body cameras, and already mentioned Hotspotters program that places mental health workers with our first responders. Regular meetings with community activists and the Homeless Liaison program so those experiencing homelessness can get connected to services. These and many other efforts with the Pasco community have received kudos from local leaders, the Department of Justice, and the ACLU of Washington, who made the quote, "While issue of police reform remains, the Pasco community will continue to work together to ensure that the department maintains its leadership as a model." Single-family home construction for Pasco is strong, with just over 600 new homes built in 2019. While this number is not as much as the highs in the early 2000s, Pasco's desirability as a place to raise a family will continue. Pasco's assessed value, which is the value of all the land and building in the city, continued its rapid increase in 2019 to just over $6 billion. As you can see, this is nearly a 400% increase since 2002 and speaks to the growth and prosperity as well as investment in our community. While thousands of houses have been added to the inventory, millions of square feet of industrial buildings have been added in recent years, as have hundreds of thousands of commercial footage. This slide shows the comparison of the assessed value to Kennewick and Richland and shows that Pasco continues to narrow the gap in value over the last several years. Moving to the projects, the city, after 2 decades of work, has only one more hurdle to jump before construction of the Lewis Street overpass can start. One approval for BNSF rail is received. The city will get long-awaited and transformative project out to bid that will better connect East Pasco to downtown and help spur further development in that area. Another part of the downtown plan is redevelopment of the Farmers Market and Peanuts Park. Central to the downtown core, the overhaul of the park and the market will spur investment. On the right is a rendering of how the owner plans to renew his building to play off of the city's investment in the park. The growth of the community has necessitated the replacement and relocation of one fire station and construction of a new fire station to lower response times and provide better service. Construction of the new Station 83 on Sandifer is underway, and the new Station 84 on Court will commence shortly. These new facilities, along with other improvements, will ensure the city maintains its favorable community fire rating of Class 3, which has lowered homeowners and business insurance for many in Pasco. Any discussion of 2020 will always have to include the COVID-19 pandemic and its effects on the community. The city has been doing its part to mitigate the effects of the virus on Pasco residents and businesses where feasible. The city has been distributing over $1 million in federal dollars to impacted businesses in form of grants and will continue to support more state and federal legislation to help our struggling residents and businesses. Further, the city, under its emergency powers, has relaxed businesses' signage and outdoor seating codes to better assist businesses in the community and was the early adopter of a no utility shut-off policy so affected residents can maintain basic services. For 2020 and 2021, the city is anticipating $3 million of negative financial impact each year to the general fund. While significant, the foresight of previous and current city councils to budget conservatively has resulted in significant reserves in the general fund to cover this anticipated revenue shortfall. It was a pleasure to share with you some of Pasco's highlights. You know, I've lived in this beautiful city for over 20 years. I have a beautiful wife, 4 children, and I've raised this family in this wonderful city. The city is vibrant, safe, and a beautiful place to call home. I just want to keep encouraging the city of Pasco residents to be respectful and to just show your true colors, and that's the true Pasco Pride colors. Because, you know, without you, we will not be able to be successful. We will get over this pandemic, and we will get through all the rough times as you have in the past. You know, we live in this beautiful community that's going to just continue to be strong and be a model for the rest of the nation. I'm a proud citizen of the Tri-Cities, and I'm a proud resident of Pasco. Thank you for your time, and God bless.
Hello, I'm Ryan Luxon, Mayor for the City of Richland. Thank you to the Chamber staff for putting together this event. We're pleased to participate along with our surrounding cities. I know we're all committed to working together as an entire region, especially as we respond to the current pandemic. I'm honored to serve on the Richland City Council with 6 other dedicated individuals. While there's a lot of uncertainty in the current state of affairs, the City of Richland continues to move forward with priority projects and initiatives. Our main goal remains to provide essential services to the citizens of Richland. We've regarded the many directives of our leaders and have shifted the way we do business to accommodate the ever-changing response to the virus. In regards to our projects and initiatives, decisions made by Council are guided by our Strategic Leadership Plan, which was adopted by Council in July 2018. The plan includes 6 core focus areas. Number 1 is to promote financial stability and operational effectiveness. 2, manage and maintain infrastructure and facilities. 3, increase economic vitality. 4, manage our natural resources. 5, maximize community amenities. And last, enhance neighborhoods and community safety. I will be providing updates to you today based on these 6 core focus areas. The COVID-19 pandemic has certainly put a strain on our economy and our citizens. We're committed to providing available resources to assist our utility customers. We're here to help and understand customers may be facing a financial hardship during this time. Another way we're promoting financial stability and operational effectiveness is with the continued implementation of a new financial management system. The city's in the process of updating its Enterprise Resource Planning, or ERP, which is the financial backbone of our organization. This will lend to increased efficiencies and improved processes across all departments. This is a significant effort and will transition in phases over the next several years. Successfully managing and maintaining our city infrastructure and facilities is a top priority. We recently completed our downtown connectivity study. The City of Richland received a variety of useful feedback from the survey and several open houses. This would create a larger central business district and downtown for Richland. The most favored option after public input is a one-way couplet. Included in the project are opportunities for on-street parking, widened sidewalks, landscape buffers, bike lanes in each direction, and other pedestrian and bicycle amenities. There are several steps that need to be taken, including identifying funding prior to this project coming to fruition. When completed, this project will make Richland's downtown and waterfront the envy of the entire region. The Dupertale Bridge is the final segment in the Dupertale-Stevens corridor strategy to provide improved multimodal connectivity between central Richland and the Queensgate area. This project is divided into 2 phases, the bridge itself and the intersection of SR 240 and Dupertale Street, which is currently closed and under construction. The bridge is on schedule to open in mid-October 2020. Understandably, given our current climate, it's difficult to speak of economic development. However, we will continue to seek opportunities for new business in Richland and find ways to support existing businesses. This pandemic has forced us to rely heavily on our community partnerships, not only with other cities, but also with other local organizations such as the Chambers, Visit Tri-Cities, and Tridec. For Richland business owners, we have maintained a business support page sharing financial resources, grant funding, opportunities, and other updates to support them in any way that we can. Speaking towards some positive progress, work continues at Park Place Apartments at 650 George Washington Way. This development was a long time coming for the property formerly known as The Pit. It's the gateway of our central business district. We look forward to this project completion and the urban mixed use concept it brings to our downtown and waterfront. As we moved into our new City Hall in June of last year, the old City Hall site was demolished and prepped as a prime real estate investment opportunity. We continue to consider options for this valuable site in the heart of downtown Richland. The Horn Rapids Industrial Park is one of the largest industrially zoned properties available in the Pacific Northwest. Sites are served by rail and interstate freeway access is only 5 minutes away. The park is also adjacent to the Tri-Cities Research District Innovation Partnership Zone, which is home to some of the largest high technology and engineering companies. Horn Rapids is designed to meet the needs of heavy, medium, and light industry. One way that we're managing our natural resources is by recognizing the emergence of electric vehicles in our community. In partnership with the Electric Vehicle Infrastructure Transportation Alliance, or AVITA, the city installed an electric vehicle charging station at our city shops location earlier this year. AVITA is working to close the gap between charging stations throughout the state. They're doing this by increasing routes and opportunities for all travelers to make carbon-free trips to their favorite Mid-Columbia tourist destinations. We've been forced to rethink how we allow our citizens to take advantage of our community amenities. Understandably, our facilities, including the library, community center, Hapo Stage, George Prout Pool, and our sports fields have not had the same use since COVID-19 was introduced to us earlier this year. Our staff has been diligent about continuing to find ways to offer recreation opportunities and help keep our citizens physically and mentally engaged. Our Parks and Recreation team launched a virtual recreation program. Part of the program includes the Virtual Ranger program, in partnership with the Manhattan Project National Park, with an extensive effort to transition our popular pop-up play days events to a digital platform. Our library continues to offer several online resources, the ability to obtain library cards, reserve materials, and even film and share popular story times on our social media. They also launched our summer reading program with the assistance of a digital tool for tracking your reading minutes. While these do not replace the value of face-to-face interaction, we're proud to continue to offer these services and programs to our valued employees and digital amenities. Of course, some of the most popular amenities in our communities are our parks, and even more than that are the hiking trails. This year, we completed the redesign and construction of the access steps at Badger Mountain Trailhead Park. This was an important safety improvement for the nearly 200,000 people who hike Badger each year. The City of Richland is moving forward with plans to design and construct 2 new public safety response stations in north central Richland. These new fire stations, or as we refer to them as public safety response stations, provide a location and resources for both fire emergency services staff as well as police services personnel. Included in the project scope is the transition of the existing Station 73 to a new location at the intersection of Jadwin Avenue and Highway 240. The current station has reached end of life and the site is not the optimal location to provide the best coverage for that area of north and central Richland. Although the move is not a significant distance, the updated access will help improve response times and coverage in north and central Richland as well as the Horn Rapids area. In addition, it will help balance the response zone overlap with Station 71 located at George Washington Way and Swift Boulevard. Station 75, located on the corner of Bateau Boulevard and Port of Benton Boulevard, will address current and anticipated growth in North Richland. This includes the existing Pacific Northwest National Laboratory campus, Horn Rapids Industrial Park, WC Tri-Cities, as well as the additional acres acquired by the DOE land transfer and the continued residential development in North Richland. The City and PNNL have initiated a service agreement that lends to PNNL contributing funding towards the facility. Both public safety response stations will utilize a progressive design-build contracting approach. This project is currently in the design phase, with construction expected to begin in October 2020. Both projects are scheduled for completion in fall of 2021. Our public safety teams continue to prioritize public safety outreach. Our community continues to grow, and with that growth, we must also increase and evaluate public safety resources, mental health services, and crime prevention programs to maintain a safe and healthy community. The programs shown here are some examples of how we educate our community and engage with our citizens. The overall effects of COVID-19 are still being determined. It's still too soon to quantify the overall impact of the pandemic at this time. It will undoubtedly have a negative effect on this year's budget as well as next year's. We're tracking expenses related to the pandemic, and we've delayed some recruitment efforts and postponed or canceled events. We're reviewing the CIP to assess what projects, if any, may need to be postponed or reprioritized. As we begin preparations for the 2021 budget, we're working with our finance team to monitor funds and determine the overall economic impacts to our operations. Early scenarios indicate as much as 10% reduction in property tax revenues and as high as 33% reduction in sales tax revenues. Businesses are facing the financial burden of this pandemic, and as a city, we are too. While these are potential scenarios, it will likely be several months before we know the full impact of this pandemic. Those are just some of the many things we have happening right now in Richland. We look forward to recovery and the bright future of our great community. But in order to open up our community, we need your help. Currently, for every 1 person who's infected with the virus, that person transmits the virus to 1.5 people. With this exponential growth, our community will not progress from its current phase. We need your help. Wear your mask, social distance, and please avoid large gatherings. We must as a community unite around this common goal. Thank you for allowing me to speak with you today, and please stay safe.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm pleased to be here to give the State of the City's presentation for the City of West Richland. Thank you to the Tri-City Regional Chamber of Commerce for hosting today's event. I would like to also thank the cities of Richland, Pasco, and Kennewick for their continued partnerships. I have truly enjoyed working with each of the mayors and city managers for the betterment and strengthening of our region. This year has brought more challenges than we ever thought possible. COVID-19 has closed many businesses and changed how business is performed throughout the nation and the world. My main focus this year has been to open businesses back up, to get employees back to work, to help businesses figure out the new norm. And just as important, help retain businesses and keep them from permanently closing their doors. The City of West Richland continues to maintain city services to the public during COVID-19 pandemic, including public safety, utilities, and building services within the restrictions of the Governor's proclamation. City leadership is actively working with federal, state, and local agencies, businesses, and the public to coordinate responses to the COVID-19 event. The city is pursuing financial assistance at the state and federal levels. West Richland was recently notified by the state of Washington that the city can receive up to $460,000 in CARES funding to assist in the responding to the COVID-19 related activities. The City of West Richland is a growing residential community with a diverse tax base that is largely residential. The city is part of a strong Tri-Cities economic access to broad employment opportunities. The Tri-Cities is home to businesses ranging from the U.S. Department of Energy's National Laboratory, high-tech firms, environmental and engineering companies, to food growers and processors, wineries, and manufacturers. The city also has the highest median income in the region. As you can tell by driving through our city, there is a continued growth. Last year, the city grew by 2.4% and has grown 12.5% since 2015. The City of West Richland has welcomed the growth and continues to plan and prepare for planned additional growth that makes West Richland so attractive for families. To meet the needs of the heavy residential component to the city, we have been preparing and supporting the needs of commercial development. In order to facilitate the commercial and continued residential growth, we have been focused on keeping infrastructure plans ahead of the demand. The city has been working on a number of transportation, utility, and facility projects that continue to enhance the quality of life for West Richland residents. Last year, our Public Works Department oversaw numerous capital projects. All the projects have made our city safer, more reliable, resilient, and dependable to provide the necessities of life. I would like to thank the Port of Kennewick and their partnership on the 92-acre Tri-City Raceway property. The city is excited about the opportunity this property brings to the city, including the location of our new police station. I'm also grateful to West Richland residents who passed a bond to pay for the new police facility. This facility will be constructed through a design-build process which brings the architects, engineers, and contractors together and produces a much better product at a lower cost than under the traditional bid process. The new facility is planned to open at the end of next year. With our growth pattern, we have turned our focus to the SR 224 Red Mountain Transportation Improvement Project. This is a $25 million project that is funded through the Washington State Department of Transportation. This project is currently in design, environmental, and road right-of-way acquisition phase. The plan will provide additional travel lanes for pedestrians, facilities along Van Giesen corridor. I want to thank those who have spent endless efforts with the state legislators to keep this project moving forward and securing $25 million in funding. Well number 11 is a new facility that will be completed by the fall of this year and will provide an increased 1,650 gallons per minute to our system. Well 10 is an upgrade of an existing system that will provide fresh, clean water to residents and will support growth through 2038. The Aquifer Storage and Recovery Project is a partnership with the Department of Ecology and West Richland to meet the demand and the environmental friendly, sustainable manner by withdrawing Columbia River water during high water month flows and storing said surface water in an underground aquifer until needed to meet peak summer demands. This is a fish-friendly project and eliminates need for expansion withdrawals from the declining groundwater aquifer while enhancing aquifer sustainability and water quality. The Keene Road and Bombing Range Roundabout was built 20 years ago, and the original design intended to facilitate 20 years worth of growth. We applied for and received federal grant funding to complete the design to decrease delays and improve the intersection. I would also like to thank Benton County for their partnership with the traffic signalization of SR 224 and South 38th Avenue. The city wouldn't be able to accomplish all that without the support of our funding partners. We appreciate all they do for us. Last year, West Richland welcomed 172 new families to our community, with 99 new single-family homes and another 73 multi-family homes. Next year, we are on a trajectory to more than triple those numbers. There are final plats totaling 300 to 500 new single-family homes, with an additional 75 to 120 new multi-family homes. Aho construction will bring close to one house per day to the Red Mountain Ranch neighborhood, and will be completing the Keene Road connection from SR 224, which was Van Giesen, to Rupert Road. They are not the only developer interested in this area. There will be also 75 new multifamily homes located there and will complete Paradise Way across Van Giesen to Keene Road. These road extensions have created quite a buzz in the development community, and we will have multi-interested groups looking at commercial centers on the ranch. Hopefully we will have more news to share on that in the near future. Fire District Number 4 had a foresight to see the anticipated growth in the Red Mountain Center area and are well underway with the construction of the number 430 fire station. They are anticipating opening later this year. Circle K has submitted and is ready to pull permits on their site next to Yokes on Bombing Range. Education has always been a high priority for the City of West Richland. We couldn't be happier that the Richland School District is locating their TLAC facility in West Richland. The construction has been underway and looks like it will be open this fall. We look forward to welcoming them and approximately 100 employees they'll bring to the Belmont Business District. Traditionally, Tapteel Elementary School is also making great progress and will also provide classrooms for young children, hopefully this fall. We look forward to enhancing our relationship and efforts with the Richland School District as our city continues to grow. Last week, the Tri-City Raceway was put to the test. Some local racing organizations brought their cars to the track and ran some laps. They all reported back that the track is in great shape and that they hope that there will be racing here again. A group calling themselves Friends of Red Mountain Event Center presented to the City Council what a multi-use facility could look like at Tri-City Raceway. This multi-use facility could include motorsports to stick and ball and everything else in between. Right now, everything is on the table, and it shows a great promise for our community. The city's Belmont Business District is growing and will be a new home for Erkey's gas station and Firehouse Suds. They will be pulling their permits this year for construction next year. Other businesses are attracted to this area, and we continue to discuss opportunities with business that will locate jobs in our community. West Richland is ranked the second safest city in Washington State and the #1 best place to raise a family. Our police department deserves great praises for all they do to make our city such a wonderful and safe place to be. We have been able to fill all police vacancies, which helps keep police on the street to keep our community great. We are currently in a planning phase of the new police station. The design build team are working hard to keep us on target for a grand opening in December of 2021. As a residential community with limited commercial business, West Richland lags behind most cities in terms of sales tax revenue. The primary revenue sources for the city's general fund are property and utility taxes, which are more stable revenue sources than retail sales tax revenue. The city has continued to experience increases in retail sales tax revenue related to new construction and online retail sales. It is anticipated that the COVID-19 event will have impacts on the city's revenue sources. To what extreme these impacts may have on future city revenues is at this point unclear. Given all the uncertainties, the city anticipates decreases in retail sales tax revenues, some state shared revenues, real estate excise tax, fuel tax, and public safety taxes. At this point in the time, the city believes its sufficient reserves will assist in filling gaps in reducing revenue sources to the COVID-19 crisis. City leadership and staff are continuing to monitor the situation very closely and the impacts this will have on the city's budget. The city has a very strong general fund reserve position with a 2019 ending fund balance well above the reserve goal. The purpose of the reserve is to provide funding during emergencies and economic uncertainties, and for unanticipated operating expenses or revenue shortfalls that may affect the city's operations which could not have been reasonably anticipated at the time of the original budget was prepared. In addition to a strong general fund ending balance, the city also ended 2019 with $2.2 million in the general fund cumulative reserve. I would like to thank the dedicated city staff who work hard every day to provide the quality of life that makes West Richland such a safe and desirable place to raise a family and call home. I would also like to thank the City Council for their leadership and continued support in making West Richland a financially stable and well-balanced community. Their dedication to establishing public policy, goals, and priorities has made a remarkable difference in the vibrant, exciting lifestyle we have in the city of West Richland. Thank you for this opportunity to present the State of the Cities of the City of West Richland this afternoon and inform all of you there are exciting things that are happening in West Richland. Come see us.